Thank you very much, Chairman Schuster. I appreciate your having these hearings. The first hearing the committee has held to oversee implementation of the Rail Safety Improvement Act of '08, which reauthorized FRA and mandated several significant rail safety initiatives, including those relating to the positive train control technologies. I have concerns with how the FRA is implementing the PTC mandate and whether the mandate can actually be implemented by the deadline provided in the legislation. We all want a safe system, but it has to be done right and not rushed. The FRA's final rule in many ways appears to go beyond the legislative mandate. For example, the FAA told the freight railroads they would have to implement PTC on rail lines where hazmat was transported in '08, even though the railroads may not use those lines to transport hazmat in 2015. Nothing in the law mentions '08. The only date is the deadline. With respect to the deadline, the law required the railroads to submit their implementation plans for PTC within 18 months of enactment. In these plans, the railroads are required to provide information about the extent to which they will implement PTC, provide a schedule for progressive implementation, and prioritize implementation on the basis of risk. Those plans have been submitted. But according to the GAO, while Amtrak has installed PTC on about 250 miles of track and 2 freight railroads have piloted PTC systems, other railroads have not yet begun implementation, largely because they are awaiting FRA standards of how the differing PTC systems must be interoperable. Further, although railroads have worked with suppliers to develop PTC systems, some components are not yet available, and the software needed to test and operate those components remain under development. Once they are developed, then they need to go through the testing in the field to make sure the system operates safely. On top of that, the financial situation for commuter railroads is tenuous. These railroads depend on funding from the federal government in states that are already suffering significant fiscal constraints, which make it difficult for them to cover the $2 billion in PTC costs, or worst case scenario, those railroads could start diverting funding from other critical areas such as maintenance, which could lead to other accidents, something I'm sure the authors of the legislation do not envision. With that, Mr. Chairman, I thank you for holding these hearings and welcome the witnesses.